Bitcoin's trading near the highs of the day. Shouldn't be a big surprise with all the excitement about the ETF. So are we headed for records? We're so close. Scott Bauer is joining us from Prosper Trading Academy, the CEO. It's time for Bitcoin with Bauer. So, Scott, is it only a matter of time here before we're looking at records?
Yeah, it really is, Oliver. I think it's a foregone conclusion at this time. But, you know, do we then break out? There's so many people in analysts, the charts suggesting that if we get to those all-time highs, that it's going to break 70 and probably 72 is the next stop. I'm not so sure about that just yet.
Interesting.
I think there's a lot of FOMO out there, and you know, a lot of those crypto traders know exactly what FOMO is. I think there's a lot of FOMO right now over the opening of this ETF that's out there, and I'm not so sure how much of that is priced in. Now, is that ultimately a positive? Has it been a positive? Absolutely it is. I think we've come a little too far too quickly, though, in my opinion.
So, Scott, this is interesting because historically, when Bitcoin breaks out from highs, it's hold on to your hat, ride the train, and don't look back. So you're saying that because the attachment to this latest rally from that ETF story has potential then that it could be a little bit more complicated?
I actually think so. And I would actually love, and I think this would be really healthy, especially for the bulls in Bitcoin here, to see it calm down, pull back a little bit to about the 57.5 area and get that as the new support area. We have seen this stair-step rise with prior resistance becoming support, prior resistance becoming support. That's really the next level. I think that would be a really healthy thing for Bitcoin. I don't know that that's going to happen. I would love to see that. And if we did pull back at all to that 57 to 58 level and it held, then to me, all bets are off and it's going to be gangbusters to the upside.
Is there any risk of major deterioration at this point, or are the days of Bitcoin sub 50 over?
They're definitely not over. The risk in the near term is probably pretty small, but 6 months from now, you know, who knows? I don't think it's over at all. It is still, in my opinion, a very risky asset class. We should know that. Anybody that goes into this that thinks it's just going to continue higher and higher and higher, I think you're in for an eye-opening event. But the trajectory is definitely to the upside.
Scott, is there a way to play that view from a trading perspective, or do you wait to actually put a trade on when it finds the base and the support that you're looking at? Walk me through the approach here from an actionable standpoint.
I think on any pullback here and any significant pullback, 5% maybe, which, you know, at this point, we're talking that's $3,000-ish, $3,200. I think you can start maybe buying in a little bit. As we approach, if it does, that 57 to 58 area, though, that's really where I would be, you know, really all hands on deck and all hands in here. I'm curious, Oliver, if and when we're going to see options on the new Bitcoin ETF that's out there. Because
they're coming.
We don't have options yet. They're coming. And it'll be real interesting to see what sort of volatility those trade at. If it trades at the same volatility as Bitcoin future options do at the CME, which they really should, because that's what this ETF is correlated to. So it'll be real interesting to see from a technical perspective what sort of arbitrage there might be between the two and how much more liquidity that brings to the entire Bitcoin space.
Scott, this is where I think it gets super interesting because there is more inclusion of Bitcoin now within all these different types of investors because of this ETF. Advisors can easily plug it into whatever their client wants. Is there risk building from a sort of structural standpoint then when we've got Bitcoin futures, then in an ETF, then options on top of that, and so we've got a derivative on a derivative basically on a crypto, or I might have actually even missed a derivative in there, so at least two or three, and now you've got more wide swaths of people buying it. I mean, should we just be crossing our fingers hoping this thing's the real deal and is never going to do a 50% swan dive again?
Well, remember, though, once options are listed on here, that also gives people the opportunity to hedge positions. They can sell calls, they can buy puts, So I actually think that opens up flexibility for people. I think you might start seeing lots of covered call positions, as you do in individual equities, where someone may hold a long stock position and sell upside calls as a way to capture some income. You might start seeing that also in this new ETF space here. So I actually think once options are listed here, that opens up flexibility. I'm not sure that it adds risk to the entire macro theme for Bitcoin, and any manager, any risk manager or any broker that now can trade this should look at it that way and should be able to use that more as not just speculation, but as a hedge as well.
Okay, all right, Scott, thanks for the thoughts here. Good day to talk BTC. I feel like we've come a long way now, and we've shared many milestones together here. The futures launch and the Coinbase IPO, and now we've also got the ETF. It's been a fun ride, Scott. Thanks for sharing it with us and your thoughts on trading as always. Scott, CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. Let's talk